I am so excited to be with you here today for one of those episodes that are just very practical, but like a really nice review. So if you are a seasoned hotel florist, if you have already worked with hotels, we've already worked together, this episode might not be for you. But if you are someone that is sitting on the fence, that has been thinking about working with hotels for a long time, that you're like, okay, you know what? This is going to be the year. I'm going to pull the Band-Aid off. I know I can do this. Like, oh, I'm just a little scared. And can you remind me again all the things I'm supposed to do? This episode is for you. So first things first, the hotel florist, like what is the hotel florist? The hotel florist is an industry disruptor in the floral community. So as a world-class leader, we focus on the hospitality floral market. So what is a hotel florist? A hotel florist is a floral designer who is the in-house florist for a hotel. So this florist specifically supports the hotel in their weekly floral arrangements. This florist supports the hotel if the hotel has clients that are booking and having events and looking for someone to come in and help them with that. That someone being you, being the hotel florist, would come in and assist that client with their floral needs for events and weddings. A hotel florist is sometimes the go-to florist for any type of arrangements that concierge might need. So let's say someone's in their room and they want to send flowers, or someone wants to send flowers to someone in their room. You would be the go-to florist. So what are the different ways that you can be hired as a hotel florist? Like, how do you get that monopoly over a hotel? How do you get that contract? What are the different ways? So some really easy ways, or what I like to say, really great ways to kind of get your foot in the door, is when you focus on helping hotels with holiday. So holiday decor, Christmas trees, Thanksgiving arrangements, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, anytime a hotel could possibly need flowers or any type of decor around the holidays is one really great way to get hired, and for you to be able to get a taste of them as a client and for them to get a taste of you as a vendor in a very non-committal way. So I always say, as you're following up with your hotel clients, if you feel like right now they're just not in that position to sign a 1, 2, 3 year contract with you, it doesn't mean that they might not need your support around the holidays. It is not unheard of to also have a hotel florist that works for a hotel, and then the hotel to hire an outside florist to help with holiday decor or flowers around busier times. And I just want to let you know those are two options for you. So that's one way to be hired. Another way to be hired is you're the hotel florist, you come in, you pitch your service, they sign you for a year, they sign you for 2 years, 3 years, whatever your contract states. That is another way that you can be hired as a hotel florist. And I've known florists to go in and work with hotels and say, okay, you know what, we'll specialize in your botanicals only. So there's florists out there that only do plants. There's florists out there that only do dried arrangements, dried florals. There's florists out there that do fresh cut florals. So I really want to blow your mind in today's episode where you're like, I didn't think about that. Or like, oh, I didn't really know that was an option. So that's what today's episode is all about. So what are some different types of payment that you can expect from hotels? So first and foremost, let's go back to the examples I just gave of you do flowers around the holidays. You are activating space during busier times. So this is kind of like you're in and you're out. And that might look like a hotel hiring you to help them come up with the theme, to buy the product, to store the product, to install the product. And when I say product, I mean decor. That's one way. So you could be paid for a design fee, you could be paid for an install fee, a storage fee, etc. So literally that's like one check being written or 2 checks being written, however your terms are in your contract. It could also look like being signed for the year, 2 years, 3 years, and you're getting paid monthly. So checks are just being cut monthly, you're not even thinking about it, they're landing in your bank account, you're good. Like, this is called recurring revenue. This is something that you can build your business on. So these are different types of ways that you can be paid. The third way I'm going to tell you how you can be paid is not a version that I necessarily agree with. And so there's lots of like red flags and stars around what I'm about to say. It is not something that I personally do, nor do I advocate for, but I wanted to let you know that there is another way that you can be paid through hotels. And that's oftentimes doing the hotel flowers and doing all of the lobby installs at a cost, because the hopes, and I put like bold and underline under hopes, is that you get all of the event business, that you get all of the wedding business like coming through the hotel. The reason why I am not a fan of this way being paid is because for me, that's not consistent enough. And in 2020, there were a lot of hotel florists that really struggled because they couldn't even cover their own cost of having to continue to uphold their contract and to continue to install, because there were no events, there were no weddings, like the hotel was dead. So there's no way that we can be sure that this would happen again. And also, I feel like you leave your business up to chance. I don't actually feel like you're a leader in your business. For me, it feels like scarcity mentality all over it. Like, quick, let me, as I like to say, prostitute energy. Like, let me just compromise all my values. Let me just go ahead and lower all my costs. Let me try to get in for the cheapest amount possible. So that way, in hopes, I'll get like maybe a seat at the table and maybe I'll get a piece of the pie. Like, that is not a vibe for me. Like, we're here to do incredible things. We have incredible talent. And I don't know about you, but it's really hard to demonstrate that when you are constantly in scarcity mode, when you're constantly in lack mode. And so though this is a trend that I see and have seen happen in the past, it is one that I hope will slowly go ahead and fade out. I believe there is a new paradigm here. I believe that we should be paid in abundance and overflow for what it is that we are contributing. And so if you are thinking, I'll just get in and just do everything at cost and then I'll get the events, remember, the bride still has to choose you. The mother-in-law still has to pay you. The client still has to sign you. They still have to like you. God forbid they already have a florist in this city. So you are really leaving a lot to chance. However, this is another way you can work with a hotel and get paid, is essentially providing services for the hotel at cost with the agreement that you will get first dibs on any of the work that comes through the hotel. And or you might be expected to give a cut of what they send you back and apply it to what you charge the hotel. So as you can see, there are many ways that you can do this. And the reason why I wanted to explain what is a hotel florist and what are the different ways you can be hired and what are different ways you can expect to be paid is because ultimately I want you, when you're finished with this podcast, to just take a second, take a beat and think, like, how do I envision that for me? Because we are always co-creating our lives. And so many of the times we just have these knee-jerk reactions like, well, I saw Sally Sue do it like that, so let me do it like that. And that, Home Chicks social media is like so big. Let me like go and do all reels now. And like, we totally step outside of our power. We totally give that away. And so take a moment, like this is a luxury. This is a luxury to like check in with yourself and say, what is it that I want to do? How do I want to work with a hotel? How do I want to create consistent income? Is consistent income even important to me? Or do I like to be super crazy and risky and just like fly from one branch to the next and hope it all works out? Like, to each their own, you do you, boo. But I just wanted to give you all the facts and figures. Okay. So what is consistent income? If you've been in my world for more than probably 2 seconds, you've probably heard of me talk about consistent income. I've already mentioned it in this podcast. And the reason why consistent income is so incredibly important is its stability that you get to build on. So if you think about it, all the payment plans that you're part of in your world, even if it's a Netflix payment plan, you're buying into someone else's consistent income. And the reason why consistent income is so important is because it's stability that I've already mentioned, but you can depend on it. So now you can hire accordingly. Now you can rent this space accordingly. Are you going to get a van? Now you can build up your equity in your business. Now all of a sudden your business is legit. and you can get credit cards, depending on wherever you're at, but it shows a stream of income. And so if you're kind of like hit or miss and you're grabbing brides as they're running by and you're just, again, flying from one branch to the next, hoping that your wings don't give out, like there's only a certain amount of time until you're going to be burnt out and realize, okay, you know what? This doesn't actually feel very good for me. It would regulate my nervous system knowing that every month, like $5,000 on the 6th of the month is dropping into my bank account. Like that is something I can get behind. And so consistent income is essentially consistent income, money that's constantly rolling into your bank account without you even having to think about it. So you're selling something once and you're getting paid for it twice. That's another way you could look at it. So let's say that you're selling it and then you're getting paid every single month. So I've just sold an annual contract for $100,000. And now over the next 12 months, I'm making 8,000 something per month. That's consistent income. And if you're like, okay, I would really like to learn more about this. Like, I know it's important. I'm kind of playing around with some ideas. I don't really know how to actually integrate this into what I'm currently doing. I highly suggest checking out my free masterclass. The link is in the show notes. It is 28 minutes long. It's like super straight to the point. And I talk all about consistent income there. So if you haven't listened to the free masterclass, go and check it out. So how do you make consistent income as a hotel florist and design your business around that? So for me, I tried all the things in the beginning. I tried making the perfect arrangements that were trending and the really loose and airy things. And I just couldn't afford to buy like 15 different types of flowers to use like one stem. And I couldn't afford to sell my floral arrangement, have it die like 3 days later. Nobody cared how pretty it was in the beginning. They just cared that it only lasted 3 days. And so I had to do a lot of things in the beginning. And when I finally figured out, okay, I need help. I would love to hire a bookkeeper. I would love to not stress out on how I'm going to pay my rent every month. I would love to take some money home and pay my own bills with it, being that I like pour myself into this business day in and day out. This is when I was like, right, how do I make consistent income as a hotel florist? So I went out, I signed my first contract. At the time, it was like almost $90,000. It was the most money I had ever signed in my life, let alone like seen in my life. I was like, oh my God, I was on cloud nine. I was like, this is incredible. We're going to do big things in the world. And all of a sudden I was like, right, okay, so I have like almost $8,000 a month to work with. I don't even have to do anything else. Like, I don't even have to like get out of bed and like show my face for 6 days out of the week. Like, I literally have to show up to this one job, like 1 day a week. Now, I'm not that type of person. Obviously, I was like, let's hire, let's boost, let's get a van, let's do all the things. But it was like my starting capital. And so what I did was I had my consistent income as the hotel florist, and then I built my entire business around that. So I figured out how much do I want to make per year. And then I was like, okay, how many clients do I need to make that happen? Being that I already have this one hotel contract already signed. Okay, I want X amount of clients. Now, how much do they need to pay per month to make this happen? Great. And what about events? What's my minimum on events now? What's my minimum on weddings now? I need to figure all that out, put it all together, and boom, I built my whole business around this one client. So if you're like, oh, I'm like getting the feels, you are speaking my language. How do I do this? I want to learn more. If you're like me and you love to just see it all come together, like I literally had clipboards on my wall of just like all the clients we work with. I knew what clients we needed as we started the beginning of the year. I knew how much they needed to pay us for the year. I knew how our terms worked. Like, I got super freaking crystal clear on that, and the confidence that comes from that, it supports you like nothing else when you have those wobbles, when you hear that no. So if you want to learn more about how you can do this in your own business, then I highly recommend Petals to Profit. It is my turnkey floral design program on how to create a profitable and sustainable flower design business. And it is an incredible program that I launched in 2019 when I hit my second consecutive multiple 6-figure year, working literally 1 day a week. So I'm going to drop the link in the show notes. You can go check it out if you feel like that's a good fit for you. So I want to give you an example of how almost a 6-year partnership with a hotel generated for me almost $1 million, one client. And this is in 5.5 years. So we're talking roughly around $200,000 a year if I were to average it all out. But it's not just the one hotel that you land. It's the fact that your flowers speak for themselves. It's the fact that you're in the lobby. It's in the fact that you're on social advertising it. People see your work. They start talking. They're like, hey, who do you work with? Who's your florist? This is amazing. I love this style. And that's why, if you've also been in my world for a while, you've heard me talk a lot about figuring out what your signature style is, because if you don't, someone will do it for you. And that would just be a shame. You wouldn't be showing up in your full capacity, and you would be losing out on a lot of incredible opportunities that are meant for you because you've decided to play small, you're scared, and like, we just don't have time for that. So what happened with this one client is other people would see my work. Other people would want to work with me. I got some of the most insane brands like Apple, Tiffany & Co. from this one hotel client. And so it's not just about this one contract or this 1 year. And that's why, again, I'm not a fan of the, I'll do everything at cost and fingers crossed I'll get an event, because again, you're not showing up, you're not differentiating yourself. It's really hard to nail it when you're working on a really tiny budget where you just want to cut corners all the time. That is not a vibe. And so it's remembering that becoming a hotel florist, even though you're dedicated to the hotel and your work is with the hotel and you're going to do an incredible job with the hotel, there's still so much business that is naturally going to spin off from the hotel as a byproduct. Now, I want to backtrack a bit, and I want to talk to you about how the Hotel Florist was even born. How did this brand even come about? It certainly wasn't one day I thought, you know what, I'm going to be an industry disruptor. Let me just go ahead and type in the Hotel Florist online, and let me just go ahead and trademark that real quick. And let me just go ahead and be super bold and tell everyone how you can make a flashy $5,000 a month, and let me stir the pot. It did not go like that at all. In fact, it started as a sister company to my floral design company, to specifically focus on our hospitality clients, offering turnkey floral solutions for luxury hotels. Now, in 2020, I realized and quickly pivoted into helping florists create consistent $5,000 months so they could stop depending on unstable wedding and event income. To date, since the signature program, the Hotel Florist Profit Method, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later on in this program, launched November 11th, 2020, combined the members inside the Hotel Florist Profit Method, which up to this point has only been a year-long program, have generated over $3.3 million in contract value alone. And so this quote unquote little brand started off as just a little spin-off to my own company, which I remember when I called it the Hotel Florist, I was like, who are you to call yourself the Hotel Florist? So just remember that we all get imposter syndrome. And then I was like, but who am I not? So after I had a pep talk with myself, the Hotel Florist was born. And about a year later, I found myself helping other florists in my community who were like, how do you still have money? How are you still functioning? And I'm like, I don't know. I have my hotels. Like, you know, there was like 1 month pause and then we were back in action again. So I am loving how the brand has come over here into this world, and we've created this incredible community and is given back. I mean, $3.3 million in contract revenue, like secured. That's not hypothetical. That is money that went out of hotels' bank accounts into florist pockets in the past year and a half, 2 years now. That is insane. That is far more beautiful than just having a spinoff for my own floral design company. So I'm incredibly grateful for how we've come to this place. And when I created the Hotel Florist brand, I really had in mind free resources. So for example, the free masterclass is an incredible place to start. I even have legal clauses that you really need to keep in mind when you're thinking about drafting a contract to include with your proposal. And then my 5 tips to land hotel partnerships. You can find all of this on the website. I'm going to go ahead and include in the show notes below at thehotelflorist.com/free, plus this podcast and our growing YouTube channel. Click to subscribe, please and thank you. Link is in the show notes. So how do you actually start working with hotels? You're like, okay, I get it. I know where you've come from. I've been part of your journey. I understand how the brand has evolved. I get the facts and the figures, but like, what do I do next? This is why I started the Hotel Florist Profit Method. It was my signature program. It was a program that I have had the entire time the Hotel Florist has been in existence. And it focuses on the turnkey process of pitching, landing, designing for, and automating hotel partnerships. And what I love about this program is there's like literally no rock unturned. Like someone was like, can you show us how you install? Boom. I went and installed the next week, recorded it. Someone else was like, can you show us how you take the install down? I'm like, sure, recorded it. Boom. It's inside the program. Any questions? The incredible thing about this program was we had lifetime founding members who were part of the initial startup. And they're like, we want to see this. We want to understand this. We want to know how many flowers we can use that lasts a week or more. We want to know what questions to ask. We want to know what the templates are. We want to know, how can we hire? What do we need to think about when we are making our proposals for the clients? And so, simple things, but like needle moving things, psychology backed exercises, understanding the industry, how to nail your first meeting. There's so much more inside this program. For example, inside the Hotel Florist Profit Method, I talk about when you go to land a hotel partnership, you really need to know, you need to understand the hospitality industry. We're so like radar blinders on for the floral world, but we need to know what's going on in the hospitality world. Best tactics for getting a meeting, how to make yourself truly stand out to a hotel, because if you're pitching, there's somebody else pitching. Like you're not the only one pitching. But what's really going to set you apart is knowing how to build a value proposition when you're actually meeting the hotel, understanding what persuasive arguments to use with them. When you're pitching to them, you need to understand the strategy that's going to go on behind your pricing and how to keep track of everything in a document. So I have my own business development tracker inside this program where you can literally figure out who you're approaching, where are you at in the process, have they made their decision yet, what are the notes that you're finding out, because it's a lot of information once you get in there. And I've even included like what questions you need to ask so you don't even have to burn any brain cells trying to figure that out. So also inside the Hotel Florist Profit Method, there's an entire module dedicated on how to design for hotel partnerships. The reason why this is so important is because it's very hard for us to confidently stand behind something we've never done. And so I wanted to make sure you had that information. So it's actual mechanics being used. It's what flowers you can use. There's behind the scenes. There's not behind the scenes. To take that out. I took that out. There's shop the cooler, there's a design tutorial. And then, like I said, you get a whole list of like what vases I use, the suppliers I use, floral recipes that you can pull just to get you by in case something happens, long lasting flowers guide. So you know exactly what flowers you're going to quote for and how to design for them. And then lastly, inside the Hotel Florist Profit Method, I have an entire module on how to automate your hotel partnership. So what does that mean? Well, it means putting your business on autopilot. I was just on a coaching call the other day and someone asked me about my florist and I started laughing because I realized I don't even know what one of them looks like. I haven't even been inside one of my hotels for almost a year. It has run itself. It is automated. So knowing how to price. So there's a pricing formula. There's a logistics formula. Like how do you get all this stuff in and out? How do I charge for it? How do I prepare for it? There's a whole inventory formula. So keeping track of everything you have, what you're going to need. There's branding, how to brand yourself now as a hotel florist. Proposal, like what you actually need to think about to put inside that proposal. How to design, what you need to consider as you're designing and how you're ordering, like the most profitable way to order, and different recipes you can use. And my favorite is inside the Automate Your Hotel Partnerships, there's even a whole lesson on how to review and renegotiate your hotel contracts. So I'm not just telling you, hey, this is how you land a hotel and this is how you work with the hotel. I'm also saying, and then this is how you work with the hotel again. So inside, I have my exact hotel contract template. If you pay in full, you immediately have access to this. It's a $500 value. And for me, this program has given the confidence to florists to actually approach hotels and to work with them. And in fact, one of the members inside this program hit over $1 million recurring revenue this year alone in July. I don't even know where she's stopped this year, but it really does show you that consistent income working with hotels is totally possible. So if you know that this is your year, that you're going to take it up a notch and you're like, okay, I'm ready, I'm going to work with the hotels, then this program is for you, the Hotel Florist Profit Method. What I want to say to wrap up this episode is that I sincerely want to thank you for being part of this community. Whether you are inside the programs or whether we've coached together or whether we've talked together in the DMs, like, I truly am invested in all of your growth. I love that we get to share this path together. I'm so grateful for the time, the energy that you have given to the Hotel Florist, and I cannot wait to watch you bloom.